Before we get on with the program, I just want to continue to thank our sponsors tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting what we're doing. Our big band sponsor, KCP&L, let's give them some love tonight. Also, our grand piano sponsors, partners in primary care, Humana, thank you very much. Our saxophone sponsors, Hallmark, Harvest Bank, and KCATA, thank you so much for sponsoring our event tonight. And of course, our trombone and piccolo sponsors, we thank you too. We thank everybody that bought a ticket tonight. We just thank you for being here. We thank you for dressing up. We have a lot of people that dressed up tonight, and we appreciate that. So it's all about having fun, but it's all about us doing something good that can change our community tonight, and we really appreciate you being here. I want to take this opportunity tonight to introduce someone that's from our board, and as it's obvious that a lot of people do this now and read from their phone. Your phone is everything, right? Everything is here. My life, my marriage is in my phone. And speaking of my marriage, I want to say happy anniversary to my beautiful bride, Troost Story. This is our 17th wedding anniversary. And she let me do this instead of taking her out. So I got a good one. I appreciate it. Happy anniversary, baby. I love you. In the meantime, I want to say Reconciliation Services Board President Melissa Vermeer could be excused for not getting involved. Her own career in national security, supporting her husband's career at Burns & McDonnell, and her 4 children are all in need of her time and attention. But she also believes that she has an example for her children, has to set an example for her children, and she is a representative of her family's values. And part of a meaning of life is actively making a difference, revealing our hidden strength, one block, one person at a time. I'd like to introduce our board president for Reconciliation Services. Put your hands together for Melissa Vermeer.
On behalf of the Board of Directors, the staff, the volunteers, the guests of Reconciliation Services, I want to welcome you to the 7th annual Troost Jazz and Soul Experience. A special thanks is owed to our big band sponsors, as Garen said earlier, and again it needs to be repeated, for KCP&L. So if you could just give them a hand. And thank you also to our grand piano sponsors. So we've got Partners in Primary Care and Humana. Thank you. And thank you to our saxophone sponsors, Hallmark, Harvest Bank, and KCATA. Thank you. And finally, thanks to all of you, our sponsors, for the gift of your time, your generosity tonight, and for joining us in our bold mission to reveal the strength of our neighbors in need and each other through Reconciliation Services. And now, enjoy the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for our board chair, Melissa Vermeer, please, once again. How many people have been to Thelma's Kitchen? Is the food good or what? Now, if you've been to Thelma's Kitchen, as soon as you walk through the door, you're probably struck with a painting that's right, like as soon as you walk through, you see it right there in front of you, probably like 12 o'clock. And you're like, wow, that's impressive. Well, there's a gentleman that painted that painting. And he is one of the people that has impacted us as an organization, and I think impacted everyone that's walked through those doors. Take a look at this video and see his story. Ladies and gentlemen, Jorge Castillo. If you've seen the portrait or the painting that was done, Jorge had a lot of different people sitting at a table breaking bread together. And that's what we do at Velma's Kitchen. All different types of people from all walks of life, from all different socioeconomic backgrounds, race, religion, ethnicity. We come to Velma's and we eat, we break bread, and we become friends. Jorge, his artwork is also on display tonight, and we'd like you to bid on it. We'd like for someone to take it home. He cannot hear me, but what he can do is feel me. Jorge, thank you for everything you've done. We love you. Jorge Castillo.
I just want to say thank you. I appreciate that you all came here to eat, and I want to say thank you to all of you.
You're welcome. Actually, I think since he can't hear you, I'd like everybody to stand and give him an ovation right now.
For people that can't hear, this is the deaf hand clap. Because we can't hear, so it's just amazing. The picture is just beautiful, and I'm really impressed to see all these people here tonight.
Thank you. Jorge Castillo, everybody. So, several years ago, a gentleman that lives a couple of streets over from me in my neighborhood in Squire Park, that's a little east of Hyde Park, got to know him, and he asked me to do this show. And then things got deeper, and he said, "Can you help me in other ways?" And I'm like, "Sure." Because at the corner of 31st and Troost, when my family moved here in 1966, that was one of the boundaries that my parents could not look for housing. They could not go south of 31st. We could not go west of Troost. When we moved here from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So Reconciliation Services is personal to me because that corner once stood for segregation and bigotry and prejudice. But now, it stands for a gathering place. And the gentleman that's responsible for that, including the staff at Reconciliation Services, is here tonight, and I'd like to bring him up on stage. Would you all please put your hands together for the Executive Director of Reconciliation Services, the coolest priest I know, Father Justin Mathews.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight. I want to ask all of the staff at Reconciliation Services if they would please come up on stage now, because honestly, these men and women who I'm about to introduce you to are the heroes of every day at Reconciliation Services. So come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, we might be small, but these folks work so hard. So everyone that you see here tonight is either in the administration or as a social worker, as a trauma therapist, or is a caseworker who is helping all of our clients every day. And these folks, tirelessly, day in and day out, make it happen. This last 12 months, this relatively small team, though we're growing, aren't we? This relatively small team helped to serve over 4,200 people last year who were in need. Honestly, I've never met a more compassionate group of people. I've never met people who challenge me more to live authentically into my own values and into our mission than these people. And to be honest with you, I say with deep gratitude to all of you, thank you. Thank you for your love, and thank you for your patience, and thank you for your dedication to our neighbors and to our community. Because honestly, these are the ones on the front line doing the work every day, day in and day out at 31st and Troost. So I want to introduce a couple of more special people to you though, because it's not just staff. As you know, we have client guests, but we also have partner guests who are here volunteering with us. And this year, for the first time, we have some very special volunteers. And I would like to ask our incredible chef and food programs manager, Pamela, to come forward, as well for Thelma's Kitchen. As well as Sarah, who is her front of house assistant and who runs Thelma's Kitchen as well. And I'm going to step out of the way and let these ladies do the next thing.
My name is Sarah Tapikian. I'm the program coordinator at Thelma's Kitchen. And today we're excited because with thanks to the ongoing commitment, loyalty, and dedicated service to reconciliation services in Thelma's Kitchen, we are pleased to present the 2019 Appreciation of Volunteer Excellence Award to Alex and Tony Christgrove.
I'm Pamela Franca. I'm the chef of Thelma's Kitchen and food program manager at Reconciliation Services. Yeah. Standing here next to me is Jay Watson, who is our 2019 Volunteer of the Year. I just want to tell a quick little story about Jay and how he found out that he was Volunteer of the Year. I had the privilege of telling him, and he was a little emotional. He may have shed a tear, and he hugged me really hard, and then he pulled away and said, "I think I deserve it." So, it is my pleasure that with thanks for the countless hours of heartfelt service, contagious laughter, he's the DJ of the kitchen, and joyous dedication to reconciliation services in Thelma's Kitchen, we present you with Volunteer of the Year.
For the staff of Reconciliation Services. Now, all of these people were pivotal in everything that we accomplished in 2018. And before we get to Father Justin's keynote, we want to show you what happened in 2018 and how you helped make it happen.
You know, the larger framework at Reconciliation Services is captured right in our name, reconciliation.
Some of the work of reconciliation involves repairing broken trust.
We are all equal, and none of us should just be living our life by ourselves.
What we really want to do is to really get out into the communities.
We're not simply doing things for you, but this is the first step in hopefully an ongoing relationship.
And the impact in our community is going to be greater because of it.
It's going to take healing, sharing resources, and building community together in order to accomplish that vision.
Come and let's share our stories.
Jay was here in the beginning, and he comes every single day. Jay's had a hard year. His companion, Francine, of 14 years, died just about a month ago. She went in hospice one day. They actually called us here. I took him to the hospice to see her. She had already died when we got there. A couple hours later, I said to him, "What do you want to do now? Where do you want to go?" He goes, "Let's go back to work. I got work to do." And then we came back to work, and he came back the next day, and the next day he didn't miss.
Sitting at home, moping, feeling sad for myself, it wouldn't have been right. So yeah, I had come around constructive people to make me feel like this is what I needed. It's like a healing process to let myself know that I know that she's gone and that the people behind me, like Father Justin and Terrible and all the rest of them, they're still behind her somewhere. These are the people that love me just as much as I love them.
Thelma's Kitchen could not be open if it were not for the volunteers, all the volunteers, the walk-in volunteers, the sign-up volunteers, the groups that come and volunteer.
The ultimate impact of reconciliation services, and as we move into the future, is people engaging with RS from both sides of Troost, East and West.
And in that, I believe we can go from just only reaching individuals to now reaching their families and then into the greater community.
Some of our work at Reconciliation Services involves lending hope to those that don't have hope.
I hear all the time that serving as a foster grandparent is the reason they get up in the morning.
I love coming up here. I get happy when I come up here.
You cannot beat the environment now that us here. It's changed completely. And in respect, and that's good,
We have a lot of fun with the people who both come in to eat and come in here to volunteer and to serve with us.
Everyone knows Reconciliation Services. And for years.
Whether it was food or whether it was to hear an encouraging word or to receive direction.
The people invite me and they do care.
Will I ever give it up? No. It's in my blood. To retire? It ain't going down. It ain't going down.
That's what we do. I'd like to bring to the stage once again Executive Director of Reconciliation Services, Father Justin Mathews.
Such a powerful video. Thank you so much to Jay and to the Christbergs and to all of the volunteers who volunteer Reconciliation Services. I'd like to just ask you to raise your hands if you have volunteered at RS before, or if you have been a donor to us for more than the last couple of days before the event. Would you raise your hand for me, please? That's a fantastic group of people. Thank you so much. Well, again, welcome. My name is Father Justin, and I'm very, very excited to have all of you here tonight. And I want to invite you, let's go on a journey together. Okay, so I want you to look underneath your table, and I want you to grab the old vintage suitcase that's underneath your table, underneath your leg. You see it? You have one? You don't have one? Props department! I gotta fire the props department. I specifically ordered 550 vintage suitcases for tonight. Okay, here. You guys are smart people. You're gonna have to use your imagination with me, alright? Use your imagination. So, here's the thing. I want you to imagine that you have an old suitcase in front of you. And I want you to open the lid up. You can close your eyes, like back when we were in grade school if you want to. It's okay. Alright. And when you open up your eyes, I want you to imagine yourself putting into it, in 2 minutes, everything that you have in your house that is precious to you before you leave your home forever. You ready? Pack quickly. Go. What would you put in? Okay, close the lid. Now tell me by a show of hands, what did you put in your suitcase? How many of you packed clothing when you knew you had to leave your home right away? Raise your hand. Really? All of you? You're going to go out in just what you were wearing? None of you? All right, all right. How many of you grabbed something that was really important to you, like jewelry or like money? Raise your hand. Okay. So, how about your keys or bus fare if you don't have keys? What about your family pictures? Yeah, now the hands go up. Family pictures. Did you remember an ID and a birth certificate? Couple people? Okay, you can put your suitcases away now for just a minute. I'll never forget when I found a suitcase that looked just like this one. I found it in a dumpster behind a house near Reconciliation Services. You see, our volunteers, they were cleaning out the old Holy Family House, which was a Catholic worker community house since 1972. Many of you may have even volunteered there before. And while I was there taking out the trash, there was something that drew my attention to this old suitcase there underneath all the manner of accumulation that you can imagine in a house that's been used to serve the community since 1972. Lonely and cast aside, there was something about this suitcase that still nudged at my heart and begged me to pull it up out of the trash. There was something that tugged at my fingers as if to say, slide that tarnished chrome latch open and take a peek inside if there's anything in there. So with one foot up on the dumpster and the other foot, with my knee cradling this old suitcase, I balanced it there and then began to open up the suitcase. And as I opened that suitcase up, my heart sank. The suitcase was full of moments just yearning for remembrance. Personal letters in yellow envelopes, a grade school report card. I remember the bottom of a torn payroll stub, a child's teddy bear, a tattered Bible, a stack of colored photos rubber banded together. All had been obviously packed together in a moment of dramatic life transition. Now, no one had intended any harm by throwing this suitcase into the dumpster, but without knowing who the suitcase belonged to, there was no way to reunite these precious moments with the person who knew them. Now, I was about to throw the suitcase in the dumpster also, when I saw something there just underneath the papers. And as I pulled back the paper, I pulled out an ID. It said KC Public School Food Service. And on the ID, as I turned it over, there was a name on the back, and it said, Francine. I knew exactly who that suitcase belonged to. It was Francine. It was Jay's companion, who he lost this year. Our regular guest at RS, my dear friend, who I even danced with, Jay, if you remember, at our first and second Troost Jazz and Soul event. Jay's companion had left, but she had left something to teach me. That Friday night, I saw Francine at Reconciliation Services, and I brought that suitcase inside. And I'll never forget that moment. Because when she saw the suitcase, she reached out from then her wheelchair and cradled it in her lap. And she held it tightly with one arm, while with the other arm she reached out to me and embraced me in a huge hug and pulled me close with that old suitcase uncomfortably pressed between our chests. She softly mumbled the way that she kind of did, didn't she, Jay? Thank you, baby. And I felt her red knit hat brush softly across my face. I never asked Francine how that suitcase came to be in that house. That wasn't the important part. What was important was was that Francine and I were now on a journey together. We were bound together by that suitcase and by those precious memories that were inside. And I learned a few lessons when I unpacked that suitcase. Lessons about how I needed to walk more carefully with my neighbors, pay attention. And these lessons have begun to find their way into the work that we do at Reconciliation Services. And I want to share a few of them with you so that you understand the deeper why behind Reconciliation Services. The first lesson I learned was this: we have to act carefully. What looks like trash to me may be full of irreplaceable treasures to my neighbor. A building may be abandoned. A place like Troost might look blighted. But that doesn't mean that they aren't full of memories that mean the world to somebody else and should be preserved, or at least given some attention as we carry forward. We have to make time to look in the unexpected places, to listen intently to the quieter voices, if we're going to truly love our neighbor. Now, this is still even more clear when we think about the blight of the heart that's caused by poverty and by trauma. Because just because a person's behavior is crazy, or they seem erratic or even undesirable, like an old suitcase in the dumpster, that doesn't mean that there isn't strength in them just waiting to be revealed. And also a lesson for you to learn. St. John Chrysostom once said this: the rich exist for the sake of the poor, but the poor exist for the salvation of the rich. You see, we have to understand that we are on a journey together, an intentional journey. And there are so many who have not had the time to pack their suitcase with all they need for many reasons. So we need to be ready in season and out of season to lend hope and strength to one another, to feel and to be sensitive enough to pay attention to that little tug on the heart that says, hey, open that suitcase. That suitcase there in the dumpster, open it. I want to teach you something. The second lesson I learned in opening that suitcase was this: only through the lens of relationship can you see the real value of things. Now let me say that again, because I think that this is something that we are really missing in our day and age. Only through the lens of relationship can you come to see the real value of things. Without relationship, there would have been no refuge for Francine at that holy house or for her suitcase. Without your relationship and others with Reconciliation Services, and without my being there and my relationship with Jay and Francine and others, then there would have been no recognizing a much younger Francine in that KCPS photo. And I would never have felt the weight of that old suitcase from the dumpster there on my knee. You see, our work at Reconciliation Services, my friends, it is all about relationships first. And not just any kind of relationship, but a certain kind of relationship. The kind of relationship that is deepening and supportive, that is outside of our comfort zone, that is faith-building and strength-revealing. That's the kind of relationship that we need with one another. It's a call to love our neighbor through relationships. There's no other way to do it. We've got to know each other. We've got to mix and mingle and be in each other's stuff, as my 16-year-old would tell me. Others are scared of relationships or want to keep people at a distance. But we're cultivating a community through RS where relationships are highly valued. Now, there's a lot of business folks in the room. Someone once said something, though, that struck me hard, even though I have a business degree like you. Someone once said, we do well to measure the return on investment, but what's even more important is our return on relationship. The real value of things is conveyed through the currency of relationship. Trust, forgiveness, second chances, hope, lending your strength to your neighbor in a moment of need. Only when we look at that return on relationship and see that the return on relationship is high, only then do we restore dignity and promote advocacy and strengthen our Kansas City community. I would posit to you tonight that without prioritizing relationship, there is only redevelopment in Kansas City and not reconciliation. Dr. King, one of all of our heroes, I'm sure, once said from a Birmingham jail these words, I am sure that each of you would want to go beyond the superficial social analyst who looks merely at the effects but does not grapple with the underlying causes. It's challenging to move beyond the superficial analysis, isn't it? What Dr. King urges us to do is not an easy or an everyday task, because it requires looking deeply within our own hearts and within our own community priorities. But this is especially true with problems in our city as complex as poverty, or racism, or housing affordability, or food access, or health care, or mental health care for our children and our neighbors. But as Dr. King said, we have to learn to grapple with the underlying causes of these things if we're going to find a lasting solution. Now, all of us have given at some point to support those who are most in need. And acts of compassion and charity to help the poor to survive better today and with more dignity are absolutely necessary. However, don't you agree? It never seems to make a big enough dent, to move the needle far enough, or to offer any kind of lasting change for our city. Charity seems to address the symptoms, but not the root causes. And even as we invest to fix the effects of poverty in one area of our city, we disinvest another area of our city, and the cycle starts all over again. We never seem to rout the root of poverty as we intend. Now, what Dr. King knew from lived experience of segregation, and what I believe from having listened to thousands, if not thousands, I'll be more honest, maybe hundreds of stories, hundreds of stories of our neighbors in need over the last 20 years in this work. What I've come to realize from Dr. King and from those stories is that domestic poverty has largely grown from the tangled roots of racial discrimination and from the scarred soil of economic disinvestment. Kansas City has shown this to be true in so many editorials. These are the forces that have created the conditions for multi-generational and complex trauma that we now see in the neighborhoods surrounding reconciliation services at 31st and Troost, where there are so many thousands of families struggling to survive and to succeed. Now, without meaningfully addressing these root causes of poverty where they still exist and their many lasting effects today, our solutions to poverty will always fall short of our best intentions. What's needed are services that address the immediate symptoms, but also have embedded within them the seeds of reconciliation, the seeds of the things that will grapple with the root causes and offer a long-term solution to racial discrimination and economic disinvestment. So I want to share with you tonight something that we've developed with our partners that is really a guiding framework for us. RS has developed what we call our theory of change. It's a bold roadmap to restoring dignity, to promoting advocacy, and to strengthening community to do just that. The RS theory of change has 6 strategies. 3 strategies for what we call client guests, who are in need of our social and trauma therapy services, and 3 strategies which are for our partner guests, who aren't in need of our services as clients, but want a meaningful, measurable, and local way to walk with their neighbors towards healthy community and towards reconciliation. Together we walk alongside of our vulnerable client guests, and we offer them companionship and the services that they need day in and day out. For instance, you may not know, but we're one of the largest providers of IDs and birth certificates and work papers in the entire state of Missouri. Last year, over 1,500 people came to Reconciliation Services for an ID. Now, as you can see from this story here, which I'm very grateful to present, seeing as how we have Humana as a sponsor tonight, Janet was only able to get her job at Humana when she was able to secure her ID from Reconciliation Services once she had fallen on hard times. Because a photo ID is often the very first step towards getting the needed medical care, applying for a job, enrolling your kids in school, getting secure and affordable housing. All of those things, you gotta have that little piece of plastic for. But it costs $25 or more if you're out of state. And you gotta know how to read. And you've gotta be able to get someone to watch your kids. And you gotta be able to take time off of work. Gosh, the things that we take for granted, that we're so privileged to carry in our back pockets and in our purses, those little pieces of plastic, they are deep wells of possibility that go untapped and undrilled for so many in our community. Through efforts such as these, and our medicine cabinet, and our housing, and rent and utilities assistance, our client guests like Janet are restored to dignity, become contributing members of their community, and reveal their strengths. What is also a goal for us is for our partner guests, our volunteers, our donors, anyone, whether they're rich or poor, black or white, living east or west, if you are not a client, you are a possible partner guest. You are those who participate by sharing time and expertise and resources. And in turn, you receive increased empathy and growth in your understanding of the actual roots of the issues going on in our community. And our partner guests find meaningful ways to engage locally, where they can really see the difference being made every single day. Every partner guest, before they're invited to serve, though, is first invited to become educated. We ask them to sit through an hour-long orientation that is not optional, because we want them to understand the deeper why, but we also want our client guests in the neighborhood to be able to have good interactions with folks who may not understand the daily life of so many of our client guests. So they learn about trauma-informed care and the 200-year history of Troost, so that they can better walk in relationship and advocate for our client guests. So in conclusion, by bringing together community members from diverse racial and economic backgrounds, as we deliver these life-changing services at Reconciliation Services, we are better able to shatter the lines of division in our city. And we see this daily at Thelma's Kitchen, our Donate What You Can Community Cafe, our newest effort, which you helped launch. And by the way, I'm proud to say, it's the only 5-star Yelp-rated community restaurant on Troost in our area. Thanks to Pam and Sarah and all of our volunteers for that. This community-based solution is a vibrant gathering place for great food and incredible community. I will never forget, and here I'm deviating from the script, forgive me, but there were a couple of ladies from a local church that was a big sponsor to help us launch this village church, and they were sitting there, these 2 Caucasian ladies, with 2 African American men, and just looking at the community table, I know for certain these people would very rarely ever be at the same table sharing lunch. But the beauty of Thelma's Kitchen and the community table and the way that it unfolds is that we are tearing down those walls of division, and we are inviting you, come and hear the family stories. Come and learn about somebody that you didn't know. And when I went over there, you can go on my Instagram if you want to go and find it. I took a little video. That wasn't a plug for my Instagram, by the way. And if you go and you want to see a video, there's this incredible video where I asked these 2 white ladies about their lunch, and these 2 African American men. And they say, we would do lunch together every week if we could. This has been amazing. And my eyes lit up, and I said, this is it. This is the beginning of something incredible in Kansas City. These guests from all backgrounds volunteer together in Thelma's Kitchen as equals, share a meal together, build community together, and what's more, Thelma's Kitchen is a successful social venture, which is literally sustaining itself not just with very generous grants from the Health Forward Foundation and many others, but from local patrons just like you, and just like Francine, and just like our client guests who donate what they can for every meal or exchange volunteer time for the very same meal with dignity. The RS theory of change is a proven intervention. I like this word that I heard one time, that it's like urban acupuncture. Because we're not delusional. We don't think we're going to transform all of Troost, even though our mission says that. But what we do believe is that every single person who engages with reconciliation services can have their heart changed, can witness that transformation inside themselves. And as we come together through this RS theory of change, this bold roadmap that gets lived out at reconciliation services, we can see the change taking place right before our eyes. Every single time a meal is shared and there's a shift in hearts and minds from our client guests. Every time one of our client guests moves a little bit closer to healing and stability on their journey to healing. Whenever one of our donors or our partner guests walks as an equal, intentionally with their neighbor, and begins to build shared understanding. That's when we see the work really coming to life. Now, in the last 12 months, as I said, you have walked together on this journey with 4,200 client guests in need, and you have helped mobilize over, get this, 82,000 hours of volunteer service through reconciliation services. And for that, I ask you to give yourself a hand. My friends, your gifts have not only cared for the working poor and the poor in our community, but you have made racial and economic reconciliation in Kansas City more of a reality today than it was yesterday. And that's not something small, especially in the times that we live in today. But don't take my word for it. I want to conclude with this. I want you to meet one of our client guests, Paul, who wants to share his short experience with you.
I come here 5 days a week. I started coming here for the month and realized that it was really a gift sent to me, because after doing dialysis for about 4 hours on that machine, you don't feel like standing up cooking nothing. And I come here and I can just eat healthy, come in, they really nice of me up here, take my time and relax. This is a blessing in disguise, really. I donate my time, you know. When I get that strength like today, I donate it, It ain't that much of time to give, for a good meal. You can't beat it. Last time I seen the doctor, he was pretty pleased to have my testing that coming back. And he didn't notice my eating habit had changed. He said, what have you did differently? And I said, I've been eating at Thelma's Kitchen. I said, they serve really healthy meals. I get my vegetables, I get my salad. I'm on the kidney transplant list now. And that was another miracle that happened. My phone was off. And I came up there and Father Turbo, I talked to him. And he said, we'll get the phone on. And they got the phone on. And no sooner, about 2 hours later, after I got home, St. Louis called me and told me they were ready to start all my different stages I have to go to receive the kidney. And you know, you missed that phone call, it sent you back. And I was just able to catch that call that same day. It was pretty amazing. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do to receive it, you know, so I think when the time comes, I'll be ready for it.
Is that not an incredible story? Many of you who have been to Thelma's Kitchen might know Paul because literally he's there 4 days a week almost. If there's ever been a story that showed that food is also medicine, Paul's story is medicine. You know that? The thing is that we can clap for that. The thing is that it takes simple things, though, like a meal, to get started with Paul. And this is the time of night where I need to ask for your help. Because we've got a ways to go. We've got about $40,000 of simple things like IDs and meals and birth certificates and trauma therapy services that we need to provide this year. And I want to ask Darren to come back up with me tonight because we're going to do something fun. Now, last year, if you guys were here, you blew me away. It was unbelievable. Wait, what you got, a phone call going on?
Hello?
Wait, hold on, Darren. Wild thing? Really?
It's my anniversary, man. That's what she calls me.
Kristen, what?
Just a second.
I'm about to do something. I got a phone call. Okay.
Hello? What?
I'm sorry, people.
I mean, I'm sorry for the wild thing. I've
sorry
been emailing you for the
call
last
on stage.
Really?
Okay, we wrap it up, right?
Really? I'm here now, right now.
Yeah, right now. We're
Right now.
right here. That's right.
Hold up. Let me talk.
Okay, wild thing. What?
It's.
Is that real?
It's right now. I'm a wild thing.
All right. Wild thing. So Darren's telling me that tonight during our Fun to Eat section, there's a donor who can't be here tonight who wants to kick it off with a matching challenge of $7,500 tonight. Thank God, that's fantastic. All right, wild thing, you can get off the phone now. Tell Krista we're done at about 11, okay? All right. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
But tonight we're going to raise $25,000 first and foremost because we know that there are needs that need to be met. Let me tell you a little bit about that. As we raise money together, what you're providing tonight is really the literal tools that our staff needs in order to be able to really engage with folks like Paul. Paul would never have walked in if Thelma's Kitchen wasn't able to provide a meal. People like Janet never would have been able to get a job with our sponsors tonight like Humana if she wasn't able to get an ID. So tonight I want to ask you to get out your cell phone. You have your cell phone with you.
Right.
Unlike Darren, you're allowed to get your cell phone out.
Yeah.
Now, if you registered tonight at the event, all these folks should have registered.
They're all registered.
All right, I'm just checking. There weren't any suitcases, so I'm making sure
No
they have their
suitcases.
cell phone.
All right. Everyone's registered.
Then tonight, what we're going to try to do is we're going to start off by trying to raise $7,500, and hopefully, if we can get there, friends, we will raise $25,000. My greatest dream would be even to raise all $40,000 that we need. But I want to start off tonight by just asking for your support. And as you get your phone out, you'll see that as you go to the donate tab, that you're able to give. Wow, thank you. It's already beginning.
We're already
Anybody, let's begin at the $5,000 level. Anybody able to give $5,000 tonight to support our work?
Right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, wow, that's
wow. There we go. Please. Let's give a hand for that. Thank you. Anybody else able to give at the $5,000 level? Remember, our dream tonight is to make it to $40,000, but we've got to make it at least to $25,000 to provide the IDs and the things that we need tonight.
Thank you, Laura, Vicky, Douglas, thank you, John, Danielle.
Thank you so much. Let's go to the $2,500 level. Anyone able to donate?
And our folks, we got our Contego folks are around to help. The folks in the orange shirts or right there, raise your hand. Susan, she can help you out if you have any issues. We're up to 17-8.
So if you
President, thank you,
donate tonight, find one of the Contego folks, just raise your hand and wave like a madman, and then we'll find you and make sure you can donate.
We will find you.
Okay, so let's go back to it. Anybody at the $2,500 level, let me try to tell you a little bit about what that will provide. Think about that. We're going to serve this year 1,400 IDs we're going to deliver to the community, at least that many. 1,400 IDs. Now, each one of those, each one of those,
it's real easy. Really easy how you can donate. Everybody should be signed in. You can donate. It's that easy. You can do it. And if you need help, the Contego folks, raise your hands. Contego folks are in the orange shirts. They can help you. They're all around the arena now.
Folks, to deliver all 1,400 IDs that we're going to need, it's going to happen. But if we go, thank you. How many of you out there might be able to donate at the $1,000 level? Do you realize that a $1,000 level would provide 100 people like Paul with a $10 meal? Now, Paul, you saw the life transformation is unbelievable, isn't it, Darren? You eat there all the time with friends, and you see the change that happens. If you can donate maybe 100 meals, $1,000 would be incredible. Let me tell you about $500. Most of the time, when folks like Father Turbo and Jonathan and others are working with our clients, they have a 500, my gosh, we're almost at 30,000. I just got to keep, I just be quiet. That's what I do. Darren, just take over. I just need to be quiet.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to stop the momentum, but I got to that close. We're less than $40,000. You came here to do something tonight. Let's make it happen. Thank you.
Wow.
Pauline, Edward, Laura, Stephanie, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Laura Lesniski from B&IM, who, by the way, B&IM designed.
All right, what we got here?
Give it up for B&IM. Very good.
By the way, I got some. We're going old school, but it still works. The McDonald Foundation, $1,000 right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We do take checks.
That is fantastic.
We do take checks. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
So that's 34.
Nicole, Ezekiel, thank you. John, we're on our way to 40,000.
We are that close.
Folks, I think we can make it. I really do. Let's make this matching challenge happen. If we raise all $40,000 that we need tonight, if I'm able to go back to our staff and to our caseworkers and say, guys, you have the money that you need for the IDs. You have the food that you need, Pam, for all the food and the meals that you're going to cook. You know how grateful it will be. Thank you so much. I want to thank Alexandra, Greg, Dave, Craig, Cheryl, thank you.
Do it again.
Charles,
Elizabeth, thank you.
Oh my gosh,
we're that close. Who's going to take us there?
Folks, we're so close. Thank you. You know what? I really cannot believe
Father Justin will dance if you get it for $40,000.
I mean, I'm not get up here and sing celebration if we get to $40,000.
And he will do the hammer time.
Whoa! Any centurions in there?
Can't touch it. 38,777.
Thank you, Daniel.
Brett. 38. We are that close.
Thank you so much.
We can do it.
Thank you so much.
We are less than $1,000 away.
Christopher and Tracy.
We're there. Thank you. Oh my God.
Thank you so much, guys.
Christopher.
We got it. And I think it's just $25.
Wow.
Even $25 will be a great blessing to folks that we serve every single day.
Even if you just want to do $25 a month, we don't know what that does. It's true. Our people, that matters.
Thank you, Michael Vermeer. Thank you, Karen and George. We're so close, folks. Please help us get over the edge. We're so close. I can't stop now. And thank you so much. You gotta dance. Well, we gotta dance. Let's clap, everybody. How high can we get this thing? 43,200. Carol, Brian, thank you. Christopher, thank you. Matt, thank you. Rachel, thank you. All right, guys. You guys have taken us to the goal and beyond. Thank you so much for your love and your appreciation. I'm going to hand it off to this man here, and let's celebrate the night. There's great things ahead. Thank you so much.
Give it up for Father Mr. Mathews. And thank you. $43,227. Wow, you guys brought it tonight. Thank you so much. Well, ain't nothing but a party. Ain't nothing like a party but a RS party, because our RS party don't stop. Right? Thank you so much. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Again, we want to thank all of our sponsors. We want to thank our big band sponsors, KCP&L. We want to thank them, give them some love. We also want to continue to thank our grand piano sponsors, Partners in Primary Care, Humana, our saxophone sponsors, Hallmark, Arvest Bank, KCATA, all our trombone sponsors, all our piccolo sponsors. Give it up for them all right now. Give them a